Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Valpo Football Preview, along with head coach Dave Cicchini. This is Todd Eichow, and we're going to look ahead to a home game on Saturday, big game on Saturday against Drake. We look back at what was really a very good football game this past Saturday at Moorhead, a game that went back and forth. He had the lead, obviously, for much of the game, and strangely enough, his third straight season, they score in the final seconds. And same combination that beat you a year ago did on Saturday. It's a heartbreaking loss, 29-26. You hate to talk about moral victories, but overall your team played a pretty solid football game. Unfortunately, you come up on the short end.
We did. And give credit to Moorhead State. They've got an unbelievably talented quarterback, and we did a fabulous job of bottling him up most of the afternoon. And, he's just a guy that we didn't get enough pressure in the fourth quarter. Our guys, I think, might have got worn down just a little bit, and he made the plays at the right moment, made the throws, and the receivers made some nice catches, and they converted in some critical situations. And that's unfortunate because our defense played, for the most part, a spectacular game and turned the ball over, got an interception in the red zone to help thwart one drive earlier in that second half, and we just couldn't come down with those last couple of big play stops, those three really big plays on that final drive that any one of them, if they go our way, it's a different story, and it just didn't fall.
You mentioned your defense played a very good game, and I think when you look at what's going on with the defense right now, you've got to be encouraged. I mean, what you guys lost last year, two great players in Guilford and Green,
right,
and then you lose really kind of the defensive backfield anchor from a year ago in an all-conference caliber player in J.J. Nunes in the first game of the season. And I think everybody said, boy, this could be a tough year for the defense. And playing a lot of sophomores, a plethora of sophomores, sprinkled in with a few juniors and a few freshmen. And that's pretty much what the defense is right now. And these guys, week after week, are getting better.
They are. They're playing faster. They're playing with confidence. They believe in the schemes, and they're just gelling. They're getting closer and executing the schemes better every week, and that's a great sign. We're not there yet. We're still not as good as we can be, but there's certainly a lot of positive signs, and that's one of the things you get when you play a lot of young players. You're going to get some inconsistent play at times, but we feel like we are weathering those storms, and we're making through it okay, and we're giving great effort, and we're running to the ball, and without question, we're playing some pretty solid defense right now.
I really want to tip my cap to Brandon Depke. Here's a kid who could have quit. Mm-hmm. Let's face it. I mean, he was a very good player a few years ago, but he hasn't been able to get on the field for a few years.
Yep.
And now you can see week after week, and he probably was your best defensive lineman this past Saturday.
He had a great game, and Depke's story, just basically 2 years of just hanging around the program. He was helping us as a manager. He was filming practices. Loved the game, was hopeful to get back, but there were no guarantees with his back being the way it was, and he tried a couple of times and had to ease off because the back pain came back, and finally he put in decided to give it one more try here this fall camp, and we took it easy and baby steps, and he's played more and more with each passing week, and he's responded with some tremendous play.
Right, that's really a great story. It's each year you have some great stories that make it probably as a coach worthwhile, and that's a great story right now, as you said. All right, now let's look forward. Mm-hmm. Drake is a team which did beat Moorhead 2 weeks ago, but they struggled this past week. Mm-hmm. There have been years where Drake has been kind of a juggernaut. The last couple of years, maybe not as elite as they've been. Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this team and what you guys can do on Saturday?
Yeah, well, they're big. They're big and they're physical on both sides of the ball. Pretty experienced. Not a lot of players who necessarily played a ton of football for them. Been a lot of guys who rotated in and out. They play a lot of players. But just a group and their program in general is at that point where they graduate some seniors and some fifth-year seniors, and they replace them with rising seniors and rising fifth-year seniors. So they're still a very mature team, even though they're over the teams that we've played in the years past, they may not have as much experience as they've had. But they're very aggressive on defense, very multiple on offense. They have a outstanding tight end. who can do it all. He's big, he can run, he can block, he's physical. They split him out wide as a wide receiver, and so they've just got size, and they create some matchup problems for you that way. But with how we're playing, and if we're able to go out and execute against them, we feel like we can move the football on offense and throw some schemes at them defensive wise to give them some trouble.
Jarrett Morgan's been over 100 yards 3 straight weeks. Over the years, nobody's really run the ball effectively against Drake. That's been kind of their hallmark.
Sure.
Big, strong up front, hard to run inside. Can you run against them?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. They're bigger and stronger than Morehead State. They're bigger and stronger than Davidson. They don't like you to run the ball in terms of a defensive philosophy. They like to take pride in putting, schematically a bunch of guys up on the box. So that's going to create some issues. There's no question. But we feel like, Jared's playing very, very well. The offensive line really is blocking at probably the best level over the past 2.5 years since our staff's been there. So we do feel like we're confident that we can go out and get Jared in some situations where at least we're one-on-one with somebody that hopefully he can make miss.
You mentioned the offensive line. Part of it has to be continuity. Now it's week after week.
Right.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Sure.
But these guys playing together now week after week, which in your first 2 years was never the case.
Right.
It was always all right, he's out. We got to bring somebody else in. He's out. We got to bring somebody else in.
Even at the tailback position, it was that way.
Sure.
We would have somebody have a great game. Grayson Bastian would play really well, and then he would be out the following week. B. Hall last year would have a couple of big games, and then he would be out. So this is the last really 3 weeks have been the most continuity that we've had with our offensive line and at the tailback position and at the tight end position. So all those critical run game spots that you're looking for, we've been able to kind of bond and grow and get better, and that's showing.
All right, 2 consecutive PFL games have come down to the wire. Could be another tight one on Saturday.
Yeah.
We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Todd.
For head coach Dave Cicchini, this is Todd Eichow, and we thank you for joining us this week on Valpo Football Preview.